What's up? Welcome back to Mindful May. I'm sharing a super fun video with you today, our Europe trip. So for just a little bit of backstory, my husband and I had planned to go to Europe for a later honeymoon. We had a honeymoon right after we got married for about 3 days locally, and we wanted to do something a little bigger. But then COVID happened, so we pushed it out and made it our 5-year anniversary, and we called it our 5 for 5 trip, so 5 countries for 5 years of marriage. So we ended up going to England, the Netherlands, France, Switzerland, and Italy. We traveled the whole time with Eurail. We bought a 5-day travel pass and took trains all the way down. We landed in London and flew out of Milan, and it is just such a fabulous way to travel. I highly recommend using the Eurail if you're going to travel through a lot of European countries. I do recommend buying your pass in advance, and if you need to travel from any big city centers on a speed train specifically, getting those tickets as early as possible so you can guarantee yourself a spot on the train. Our trip was in April, so the trains weren't super busy. We ended up only paying a little bit extra to reserve seats from London to Amsterdam on a speed train. Other than that, all the other trains you don't need reservations for, so we added those travel legs onto our pass, and then you scan that when you get on and you're good to go. No reservation needed. As far as our accommodations go, we booked a mix of hotels, Airbnbs, and hostels. Basically just whatever was cheapest and not creepy. A couple of helpful apps that we traveled with was the Eurail app, so we could download our pass and show our ticket when needed. The second one was Eurail, which was our eSIM. It just makes traveling so much easier, and then if you are to run out of data, it will alert you and you can spend $5 and get another gigabyte. It's super cheap, works really well. I highly recommend traveling with an eSIM. The third app we enjoyed was using Wanderlog. We had made our itinerary on a desktop with it and then downloaded the app so we could pin all of our activities, coffee places, restaurants, landmarks, places we wanted to go, and then we made our itinerary within that, and then we could pull it up on our app and look at the map, and you can see how long it takes to walk to certain places. We found it really helpful. There is a paid version that uses AI to make your itinerary for you in the easiest route possible. So maybe next time I would pay for that, but this time we didn't, and we got along just fine. I loved our travel time. We got at the airport at noon, so we had a nice loungy morning. We had coffee and slowly got ready, double checked our packing. It was really nice to not have to leave at like 5 a.m. Travel, of course, is long, but we landed in London at 9 a.m. on our wedding anniversary, April 27th. We took the tube into the city to drop off our baggage at the first stop, the Hub. This is our tiny hotel in London. So we really just have like the bed, a tiny desk, and bathroom. It's kind of all you need. Storage is in here, which is fun. It slides out. Bathroom, and then super tiny mirror. We're gonna walk a lot today, hopefully find some English breakfast first thing. For some reason, I did not take any footage of our first day. We basically hit the ground running. We dropped off our bags at around 11 a.m. and then we just went. It was pretty cold out, so I grabbed some tea from our hotel and we walked and got some lunch and pastries and coffee at this spot called Gale's, which was super cute. Then we went to Portobello Road and saw all the colorful houses and buildings. Then we made our way through Kensington Garden. And then we went to Westminster for coffee and sat there for a little while and just took a moment to celebrate our 5 years. We went to Trafalgar Square after that. It started to rain a little bit and we were getting seriously tired, so we decided to go back to our hotel and recoup and just stay in for the evening. And then we're gonna come back to Trafalgar the next day to do the National Gallery. Day 2, we went to Proof Rock, which is James Hoffman's coffee shop. It was beautiful inside, the service was excellent, and the pastries were amazing. And then we made our way to the National Gallery. We actually ended up spending a couple hours in here. It's very expansive, it's easy to get lost, and the art is just stunning. It's free to get in, we just had to wait in line for about 10 to 15 minutes, which wasn't too bad. After that, we hit up Big Ben and Parliament. We saw the London Eye. And then we went to the Watch House for coffee and an afternoon pastry. We hit up the Tower Bridge and the Tower of London. And then ended the evening in Soho at a place called Club Mexicana. I didn't get a good photo or video here, but it's a vegan Mexican restaurant and it was spectacular. After that, we went to 3 Savile Row, which is where the Beatles performed their last live performance on the roof. If you haven't seen the Let It Be documentary on Disney Plus, highly recommend. It's amazing. So it was really cool to see that place in person. All right, it's day 3, I think, and we're heading to Amsterdam today. So checking out of our hotel in London and heading on our first train with the Eurail to Amsterdam. So we will be on a train for about 5 hours and then be in Amsterdam. We got to Amsterdam at about 1 p.m. This was kind of a long day because we couldn't check in until 4, so I had to carry that backpack around for 3 hours. We basically just walked through the town center. We stopped and got some coffee. We saw the Anne Frank house. We went to Pancakes Amsterdam, or Amsterdam Pancakes. We got a savory pancake, which was incredible. It's in my top 3 favorite things that I ate in Europe. After that, we went to the Bloemen Market, which is just stunning. And then we got to check into the Volks Hotel, an amazing and super cool hotel. There's options to have your own space, or we chose the cheaper option and we stayed in kind of this hostel area, these little pods where you share a couple of toilets and showers with a few other people. But your own pod does lock and you have a key for it. So that was really nice. We ended up having dinner and dessert at the Volks. So went up to their roof house restaurant. I didn't get any footage of this, and then I got some desserts from the cafe downstairs, and we took a walk and watched the sunset and ate our dessert outside. Day 4, we went to Yusu, which we absolutely loved. As you will see, we went there twice. Instead of finding another cool coffee shop to go to, we just went right back. So Yusu first, I got a matcha and a little energy bite just to hold me over until we got to breakfast, which was milk pancakes, super popular place, really fun, delicious pancakes. And then we were classic tourists and rented bikes. This was so fun, definitely a highlight of our trip. Going along the Amstel River, we saw people rowing on the river. We saw lots of wildlife, pheasants, rabbits, sheep. It was amazing, so fun. This was our first windmill sighting. Then we went to the Rijks Museum, I don't know how to say it, and Sunny Burger Co. for dinner, had dessert of course, and then we used the sauna and the hot tub that are on the rooftop of the hotel. It's such an amazing experience. They're like these big barrel hot tubs, and the sauna was incredible. The views are also awesome up there. Day 5, we had rented the bikes for 24 hours, so we had them until about 11 a.m. So we took another ride down the Amstel River. And then we came back into the city to go to Yusu again. And then not only did we have breakfast and coffee there, we took snacks and more coffee to go. We went through Vondel Park, went on a nice walk in that area, saw some colorful buildings and cathedrals. And then at 4 p.m. we had a canal cruise set up. That wasn't anything crazy. It was just like kind of a classic cruise, but we got to see a little bit more than we probably would have on foot. We got to see the famous dancing houses, which was really cool. And they gave us a free shot because it was somebody's birthday on the boat, so that was fun. We went back to the Bloemen Market because I had seen a tote bag that I wanted, and that's about the only touristy souvenir that I bought. Then we went to the vegan junk food bar for dinner. That was amazing. Also in the top 3 of the food I ate was those loaded shawarma fries. Amazing. There was this gelato place we wanted to go to, but it was packed with a line down the street, so we decided to just go to the grocery store, get a pint of vegan ice cream, and go sit by the water. And we were not the only one with that idea. idea. There was all these people out having picnics and hanging out because the weather was so beautiful that day. It was really sweet to see people just collecting food and bringing picnics and meeting up with their friends and all just sitting on the ground or sitting on a blanket. It was really sweet to be in that moment with the locals. And then that night we did the sauna and hot tub again. And then on day 6 we headed to France. On the train, I had a snack and some very terrible coffee. We stopped off in Offenburg to switch trains there, but we had a little bit of a layover, so we walked to Aldi for some snacks. I got a couple of vegetables and things to snack on. It was nice to just have a vegetable after eating a lot of pastries. This was crossing the Rhine and pulling into France. Hotel Tandem, and the tiniest little elevator you've ever seen. It was so nice after being in Amsterdam to have a space to ourselves, to have this whole room. This hotel was super affordable and so beautiful. This was the hotel bar and eating area and their library. And then we went into town and checked out the main area. It did rain, but we stuck around and visited the Notre Dame Cathedral. And then we went to the spot called Origin for vegan quiche and dessert. Then went to a grocery store, just grabbed a couple of bananas, and then went back to our home base to eat and read.
Soaking wet.
And just wind down after a day of traveling. Day 7, absolutely insane brunch at the hotel. Highly recommend getting it if you go there. I don't even know how much it was, but we said, yes, sign us up. And then we explored Petite France. I thought I was in Beauty and the Beast. Stopped at Origin again for a little matcha. We were walking in this park and we saw this row of trees and realized there were storks on top of it. And that in the park there happened to be like this abandoned zoo, but there were still tons of birds living there. It was just so wild. We didn't even know what we walked into, but it was beautiful. Day 8, we left for Switzerland. Took a really cool train, probably the coolest one yet. It had these amazing seats. It was just really spacious. The bathrooms were huge on the train. And then we got to Switzerland, which was just a dream. It was like being in Sound of Music, the mountains, the water, the wildflowers. When we got there, we went to the grocery store for some snacks and Miles got a pretzel, classic. And then we got to our hostel, the youth hostel. Pretty classic hostel, bunk beds. This area was locked and we had some cubbies that were locked and you have your own key for, which was nice. And then they have really awesome views and they were right by the train station. This was also the cheapest place to stay in Switzerland. Switzerland is just super expensive. So we kind of just had to suck it up and stay in a hostel for a couple nights, but so worth it. Switzerland is so beautiful. Interlaken specifically is where we stayed. After we checked in, we went and checked out the area. Just walked around for a long time. Ended up walking over this footbridge and seeing this beautiful teal water. We saw this little castle-looking thing on the hill and thought, hey, maybe we can hike there. So we did. We found some beautiful views at the top. We just hiked all afternoon and into the evening. Day 9, this was my hostel breakfast. We then took our train up to Grindelwald. And from there took a gondola up to Jungfrau.
Oh.
decided after checking out Jungfrau to try the hike to Bischofsee Lake. We were walking through snow, but thankfully didn't get too wet. It was beautiful, definitely a highlight. Ended up getting so warm because of the way the sun reflects off of the snow, but after about 45 minutes, we were like, I don't think the lake is anywhere around here. So we ended up turning around because we got hungry and went and had some snacks back at the lounge at Jungfrau. And then we took the gondola back down and checked out Grindelwald a little bit more, walked around in that area. Got some snacks at the grocery store. Then we just hung out in Interlaken for the rest of the evening. Day 11 was another hostel breakfast, and then we hit the ground running again, just immediately left the hotel after breakfast to go on a hike. We were hiking Harderkolm, which is actually kind of insane. It's apparently a 5-mile loop, is what it says, but it felt like it was 5 miles up and 5 miles down. It was very hard. The last kilometer or so, I just did not think I could do it. Miles ended up carrying my bag, and I just crawled my way up. It was pretty rough. But just getting done with a hike, that feeling is really nice, and it was nice and cool at the top. Unfortunately, it was so foggy we didn't get to see the view that we hiked for, but we got a lot of steps in, I guess. On the hike back down, it started raining, but I had bought an umbrella the previous day up at Jungfrau, so I got to use that, which was great. We went to the grocery store to do kind of like a picnic dinner. This was just a much cheaper way of eating dinner. Very expensive to eat in Switzerland, so for about the price of one dish out, we could feed both of ourselves and eat until we were really satisfied. After dinner, we went and walked to Breens Lake and skipped some rocks and looked at some ducks and swans and just enjoyed our time together. Day 11 was our last breakfast and coffee, and then we said goodbye to Switzerland and hello again to Italy. We'd been to Italy before, so to arrive back there just felt really familiar and really lovely. The Airbnb we stayed at had kind of this odd way of getting in there. We had to retrieve a key and then go through this locked gate, and then we finally got into our Airbnb. It's this cute little space called the Artist's Nest, which had an awesome loft up top, a tiny kitchen, and a beautiful front patio. We ended up making some plans to meet up with some friends who were in the area at the same time as us, so we met up and got some pizza, shared a bottle of wine, and had an amazing evening.
Just, well, I guess we're not in Black explaining this with you.
It's not gonna kill you.
The next day, we did some laundry, finally. Definitely recommend finding a place to do some laundry on a long trip. We did have to air dry it, but I didn't care. It was just nice to have some clean socks. After that, we stopped by the grocery store for some breakfast items. I love shopping in a foreign grocery store. It's so fun. Had some breakfast and then went to go check out Como. Of course, had to stop for a little raspberry croissant and a soy cappuccino. So amazing. And then we just hiked around the area. We found this little garden. At some point in the afternoon, I started to get really hungry and tired, and we were just climbing further and further up into the mountains, kind of aimlessly and just adventuring, but my blood sugar started to drop. So we decided to come back into town, which is about a 30-minute walk. I just picked up a tuna sandwich, a protein bar, a mandarin orange, and a giant bottle of water. And then we went back to the place that we had pizza the night before because it was just incredible, especially this pesto pizza. That's probably the third best thing I ate while we were in Europe. The next morning, I had my grocery store breakfast, yogurt, granola, fruit, amazing. And I learned from my day before that I needed to dress a little bit cooler because it was going to be 70 degrees. Stopped off to get some more coffee and then explored the other side of the lake and the city center of Como. We stopped by Ox Pub Como for lunch. We had an incredible pizza. The crust was phenomenal. And then this eggplant burger and fries. They gave us complimentary meloncello, which was super sweet and tasted great. Finally got my dairy-free gelato, chocolate of course. And we just walked around the main square and the shops in that area. Passed by a market, and then we actually ended up going home for a little while and then recouping and coming out for our last outing of the day. We took the funicular up to this small little town, and then we hiked to a lighthouse. That was a very intense hike. We got a lot of steps in, I'll just say that. We finally made it to the Volta Lighthouse and got, again, an incredible view of the lake. At that point, we were hungry again, so we decided to go back down the mountain and get some of that same pizza we had. We got 2 of them, and we took them back to our Airbnb and enjoyed our last and final night in Italy. Our trip was truly amazing. Everything just went so smoothly and we had such a wonderful time. 2 weeks was really the perfect amount of time to be there. Really, by the end, I was feeling like ready to be home back in my bed, have some more clothes, some more food options. So 2 weeks just felt amazing and such a fun way to celebrate 5 years of marriage to my best friend and the person I love most. A couple of things we learned and would do maybe differently next time would be to learn more languages. I took a little bit of French in school and Miles took a little bit of German, so that helped us somewhat, but I would love to learn more French, German, or Italian next time we go, just to better be able to read signs or talk to people. I think that'd be super fun. The next thing I think we would do is to get the mobile passport. Getting back into the United States took so long to go through customs, and there was this option to, if you had a mobile passport, kind of jump the line. So I would recommend doing that next time because it seemed like nobody had it, but there is this like expedited lane for those who have it. So probably get that next time. And then final takeaway is just that the trains are awesome. We would definitely do them again and highly recommend them to anyone else who wants to travel all over Europe. I think that's all. If you have any questions for me, you can ask away. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. I just highly recommend a trip to Europe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.